Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are, whenever it is for you. For me, it is just past midnight. No, actually, it's almost 2 a.m. on Sunday, the 11th of January, 2025. This would be day 1417 of Vladimir Putin's war of aggression against the people of Ukraine. How do you do? I'm Peter Alexievich, and this is the live. Well, it's not the live at 5, actually, from Kyiv. This is the live at 2 a.m. Hey, Van, how you living, man? Hey, Arna, you're up late, Arna. I have a reason to be up late, right? So, and this is why I got on the live. Hey, Avi, long time no see. Hey, man. So, I got on the live just now. 2 hours, Petey boy. 2 hours. And we're not late because it's Saturday and I don't do a live on Saturday, right? But the circumstances here are different from normal. I am in now day 4 with no heat, hour 16 with no power. Hey, Drew. No hot water. There's water, but no hot water. I've lost the internet. I'm doing this all over cell connection. And it is unusual, Den, and it's because the circumstances are unusual. It's like minus 14 Celsius out, which is what, like 8 degrees Fahrenheit, I think, something like that. And so with no electricity and no heat, the only way that I have to stay warm is to boil a big pot of water on the stove. And that's what I am doing. And the reality is that tomorrow when the sun is out and the sun coming through the windows, that'll go a long way toward warming the house. And so what I thought was when I got home from the theater tonight, because I was at the theater tonight, and it was amazing. Let me tell you something. The Left Bank Theater is a national treasure for the Ukrainians. They do really fabulous work. Not that I don't have some criticisms or concerns about the execution of the Caucasian chalk circle tonight. I do, but overall, it was a great performance. And can I just tell you, the entire audience was there in their down jackets because there's no heat in the place, right? So we're all sitting there, me and several hundred Ukrainians, watching this play by Bertolt Brecht, if you know Brecht at all. A play that I've seen, maybe dozens of times. It's a classic. And so even though it was in Ukrainian, I followed it right along. Hey, Bakhmut. No, I know, man. I know I'm not. I know I'm not alone. None of us are alone. Well, none of us in this TikTok community are alone. I'm not so sure about my neighbor. I never see anybody visit her. And she is 87 years old. And she does not speak English. So our conversations are had via Google Translate, right? I knock on the door. I say, do you need anything? She generally says no, but once in a while, I get the chance to help her out a little bit. And right now, things are difficult. I can't imagine what she's doing over there. I really can't. She's diabetic, Arn. She told me no sweets. Can't bring her sweets. But she does like the soups. She does I'll tell you, she does appreciate my soup. And for a Ukrainian to appreciate your soup, that is quite a pat on the back, I got to tell you, because these folks make a good soup. Some of the best mushroom soup I've had in my life has been here in Kyiv. So the conundrum, the situation that I am in, right? Oh, I make a great borscht, sir. You want green borscht? You want red borscht? You want a vegetarian borscht for Christmas Eve? I got you covered, brother. I got you covered. My buddy Igor, who holds a double doctorate, um, PhD guy, who I met when I first came to Ukraine, who has now retired from the university in Kyiv here and is in Poland with his wife. Only red, says Sir A. Everything else is bullshit, huh? I don't know. So, I'm thinking to myself, I get home from the theater. I'm a little bit hungry because I didn't have any supper. I only had lunch. And so I cook, I make myself something to eat. I eat, and now it's almost 2:00. And I'm just thinking, I'll never be a Ukrainian. And I'm just thinking to myself, this is the coldest part of the day. If I go online and I talk to the TikTok folks for a while, maybe I can go get some sleep and I can turn this gas stove off. I do not want to sleep with the gas stove on. So we're here. We are here. So if anybody wants to talk about theater, I will gladly talk about the show tonight. But this is really the joker here. So the Russians have done more damage than in 2022. What are they doing differently? It's a great question. All of my the first thing I do every morning, if you don't follow me on Blue Sky, Threads, X, or Instagram, you are missing the daily numbers that I post every morning there. I post the overnight missile and drone attack numbers, and I post the Russian losses of the day. And Facebook shows you your memories, right? Because anything you post on Instagram gets posted to Facebook. So do not join X, Drew. Join Threads. Threads or Blue Sky are the places to be, in my opinion. X is a sewer of Russian propaganda. It's awful. And Facebook shows you your memories, right? Just a thought, Drew, just a thought. Facebook shows you your memories, and it's quite revealing to look at the overnight missile and drone attacks from a year ago. 35 drones, 60 drones, 50 drones. It's not 242 drones like the other night. 242 drones along with 30 missiles overwhelms air defense. It overwhelms air defense. So what they do is they send a couple hundred drones in to get everybody's attention and to exhaust the air defense assets. And then they send the missiles in, and the missiles hit the plants. And the ballistic missiles, especially the Iskander-Ms and the KN-23s, are extraordinarily difficult to knock out of the sky. Very difficult. Even though, same with the Kinzhals, even though the Ukrainians have a pretty good track record. In the big attack the other night where 36 missiles came in, 50% of them were intercepted. That's pretty good shooting, right? So what has changed from last year is the sheer size and volume of these attacks. And that makes them far more devastating. Then, of course, there's the accumulated knock-on effects of strikes over a period of time, over the last 4 years now, 4 full years of the full-scale invasion, which has degraded Ukrainian energy infrastructure. The Russians are desperate, Sergei. And we saw that with the Oreshnik strike on Lviv. Now, Drew wants to know what happened with the Oreshnik strike on Lviv, and the short answer is we don't really know. The target was the underground, hey Bjorn, the target was the underground gas storage facility, where the Ukrainians store about half of the natural gas that they need to get them through the winter. not a gas line, Drew, storage facility. So big underground limestone caves where they just pump the natural gas in and they store it underground. We don't know if the strike on that facility was successful, and successful is a term with different meanings to different people. We don't know if it was successful or not. What's very telling is that we live in an age where everybody's got a cell phone. And I cannot find a single photograph or video. Hey, Roy. Hey, Robbo. Hey, Feisty. I cannot find a single video or even a photograph of fires burning, of gas exploding. There's nothing. Now, if anybody's got any, please send me a link. I'd like to see it. One guy on TikTok responded to one of my comments saying, I saw the pictures of the aftermath. The damage doesn't look too bad. And I asked him, I said, where'd you find it? And I haven't had any response. So I don't know if he's full of shit or what it is, right? Nothing happened, Roy. It's just that I am in day 3 of no heat, hour 16 of no power. The internet just cut out on me, so I'm on the cell networks to do this. And I'm thinking that this is the coldest part of the day. Maybe I should just force myself to stay up through it and then try to sleep when the sun is out and it's not so bad, right? And so I thought I would talk to you guys. Boy, it's weird the way the light shades from the candles. Look at how red I am there. I look like the devil himself. And then if I kind of tilt my head this way, it kind of goes blue. Anyway, I did Scully. Thank God I did that load of laundry last night, right? Because today there's no hot water. There's no power. It wouldn't be possible. So thank God I did that load of laundry last night. So again, we don't know what happened with the underground storage facility. What we do know is what the Russian media is saying. The Russian media is saying that the Oreshnik strike on Lviv destroyed the metro, the subway in Lviv. Now, this is, if you didn't see the video on this is particularly funny to me because I know goddamn well that Lviv doesn't have a subway. I mean, come on. Come on. It's the way the Russians lie. They are so desperate for the world to see. The Russians are like a great big fat hot air balloon of grandiosity wrapped around a white hot coal of insecurity. They are so desperate for the world to fear and respect great Russia. And in fact, that's what this Oreshnik hit was all about, right? It was supposed to intimidate the... Look, this Oreshnik missile, guys, now again, I'm not a weapons expert. If somebody can point me someplace with some good reading to do that will prove me wrong, I'm happy to go read it. But I have done so much reading on this thing. And there is a great deal of debate in the analyst community about whether or not the reason this thing has 50% launch failures is because they've been testing it with various payloads and they have been unable to solve the payload problem. Right now, the missile exists only as a kinetic energy weapon. That is to say, they have these tungsten submunitions. There are 6 warheads. Each warhead has 6 submunitions. So one missile is really 36 bombs coming at you all at once. And there are a number of analysts who say that they have done the math. And they believe that the reason that half of the tested Oreshniks blow up in the silo is because the solid rocket fuel boosters are not big enough to handle the warhead if you load it with either conventional munitions or if you try to put nuclear bombs in there. They don't have the capacity for it. And that's why when Russia uses it, they use it like a shotgun, basically, where you don't have an explosive, you just have 36 of these tungsten warheads coming at you at Mach 11, right? Look, I'm sorry. I don't want to be paranoid. I don't want to be discourteous. I don't want to be rude. But Victoria Honcharuk, I'm very suspicious of anyone who comes in here talking about anybody supports Ukraine here. And they're a young, apparently military Ukrainian woman. That looks like a sucker setup to me. And the internet is full of these. So can somebody please go look at Victoria's profile and tell us whether or not she's got 1,000 followers and how long her account has existed? Please. Or does anybody know her? Sergey, do you know her? Does anybody know her? Because I don't want a bunch of you guys going out following her and she's just a Russian bot. And I'm sorry, Victoria, if you're legit, but come on. You're not a red flag. You're like one red flag after another. So pardon my cynicism. But you don't look like a real person at all. Van. You're funny. There's still North Korea, Sergey, but you're right. Iran is in trouble. Iran. Now look at that same. Anyone support Ukraine here? And she's asked this question 7 times. This does not look like a real person to me at all. Hey, Courtney Davis. Hey, Vanificum. I haven't seen you in forever. How you doing? Yeah, I mean, look, the design is just the whole design of the thing is a bad ripoff of an ICBM. So it doesn't have independent guidance for these reentry vehicles or these submunitions. It's not even a precision weapon by any definition that we in the West would use that term. It's got a circle error probability rating of 290. 90, if I'm not mistaken, it's 90 to 350 meters. So 4 football fields for the Americans. It can be off by 4 football fields and considered it hit the target. That's some bullshit right there. Hey, Tom Dunleavy. Hey, Stu. $77 followers. All right, block her, please. Hey, Papadon. Yeah, that's not a real person. And look, she hasn't responded to any of the things I've said either. That's not a real person. Oh, Arn is in his element. He's talking about IPA there. Pop Don, how you doing, buddy? Thanks, Vanificum. Nice to see you. Hey, Bernard. Hey, Matthew. Roy Daniels, IRBM, Intermediate Range Ballistic Missile. Well, remember the design is a ripoff of an ICBM. So the original design is intended to carry a nuclear warhead. And this is the great lie that the Russian bots are being paid to tell us all right now. Ooh, just imagine if it had a nuke on it. You'd never know because it's got nuclear capabilities. So you have to be ready for it when it comes. You'll never know. What if it has a nuke? That'd be the end of all of us. These fucking cunts, I swear to God. It's just, now look, I know everybody has to eat. You have to have a job. Get a better job, people. Get a better job. Anybody who thinks the Russians are going to make a first strike against the United States, the Russians don't even know how many of their nukes work. We know ours work. It's not going to happen. Not if Putin doesn't want 500 years of Russian history to come to a sudden end in a blinding flash and a wisp of ozone 42 minutes after he makes this fatal mistake. Give me a fucking break. Thank you, Feisty. Ren Vox. Veteran Grandpappy. How you doing, Veteran Grandpappy? Hey, Big D. Doing as well as can be expected in the apocalypse. The apocalypse. Yeah, Papa Don's in the USA. Michigan, right, Papa Don? This guy was one of the first guys I met when I got on TikTok. And he was very welcoming, and he suggested to his, at the time, I want to say 36,000 followers, that they give me a listen. And I always appreciated it. Thanks, Don. And dude, you make me laugh all the time. Your videos are so fucking funny. Thanks, High on Life. Hooked on fishing. You would like my son. He is a big fisherman. Hey, Jiminy Cricket. Exactly, Roy, right? The Oreshnik is designed to, well, it's copied from a design of a nuclear ICBM. That doesn't have to be accurate. You get within half a mile of your target, you're still going to vaporize the target. That's not your big worry. Your big worry is the direction of the wind and how close you are to that. Explosion. We always have subs in range. Well, of course the Russian bots and Vladimir Putin are in favor of the United States invading Greenland. Why? Because it makes what Vladimir Putin is doing legitimate. It creates a world where the rules-based order goes out the window and might makes right. Feudalism. Remember, the Russians are the people that brought you 500 years of serfdom. And the people in charge there are the same fucking people. The same fucking people that were the landowning gentry of the Russian Empire became the political manipulators of the Politburo. And today, their grandchildren are the oligarchs. The 400 people, and I swear to God, guys, to the best of my knowledge, this is true. This is not hyperbole. There are only 400 people in Russia that own 99.98% of all of Russia's wealth, which is why Russia is such a poor country, which is why Russia has indoor toilets in only 80% of the homes. 20% of the Russian population, when they get up to piss at night, have to go the fuck outside or use a pee can in the corner. which is charming as all hell. You ever see pictures of these Russian villages? Every house has a garbage dump next to it. That's because there's no municipal sanitation. They won't spend the money on it. The bastards at the top steal everything for themselves. And that is the model, the template that Donald Trump is trying to bring to the United States. Make no mistake, his economic policies that are wrecking the economy and concentrating wealth in the hands of a few are intentional. It's not because he doesn't understand how tariffs work. He understands it quite well. Look what's happened with the farmers. They are being bankrupted on purpose, and their farmland is being bought for pennies on the dollar by, what's the name of J.D. Vance's company? J.D. Vance, the vice president, Acre Trader. Look up Acre Trader and look at what they're paying for distressed farmland. J.D. Vance and his billionaire buddies at Acre Trader are buying up the family farms that Donald Trump bankrupted through his tariffs at pennies on the dollar. And this big 12 billion, I think it's up to 12 billion now, farmer bailout isn't going to help any of those people. It's going to go all to the agribusiness interests like Acre Trader. You can be sure of it. So, of course, it makes sense that Vladimir Putin supports the Greenland move. It does two things. It demonstrates that we are no longer living in a rules-based international order, a rules-based international order. We are instead living in a world of spheres of influence, where the United States gets the Western Hemisphere, Russia gets Europe and Africa, and Xi Jinping gets Asia. Those are the ways that these three masters of the universe want to carve the world up. And the template for impoverishing a people is the template that Donald Trump is using in the United States. It's literally the 1990s playbook of the oligarchs, how they carved up the federal. Why do you think Donald Trump wants to eliminate the Department of Education? He wants to eliminate the Department of Education so that private industry can control education. And that means that they can teach your children what they want your children to know, and you have to pay them for the privilege. It's insanity. It's insanity of the worst sort. So it reinforces the spheres of influence, plus it gives Vladimir Putin legitimacy to invade other neighbors and take other nations by force, changing sovereign nation borders with violence in direct contradiction to the UN Charter, which again is another reason why Donald Trump wants the UN out of the United States and destroyed. Attacking Greenland does one other thing. It ensures the end of NATO and the transatlantic partnership, which has been Vladimir Putin's goal since before he was out of the KGB. Remember, Donald Trump ran for the presidency in 1988. In 1987, he visited Moscow on a trip paid for by the KGB. He came back to the United States, and in 1988, he ran for president, and he took out full-page ads in the New York Times and the Washington Post, in which he advocated for America to leave NATO. This is nothing new. This is an old story that has finally, after nearly 40 years, come to fruition. With Donald Trump subverting the lawful government of the United States in an internal coup, Vladimir Putin has his greatest victory. Hey, Haffer. Michigan. That's what I thought, Don. Boy, I used to love going up there. What's that called? God damn it. I'm so old now. I can't remember anything. And I've also been to a lot of places, but up in Michigan on the Upper Peninsula, or just off the Upper Peninsula, there's an island. And on the west coast of the island, there's all these great, like they're just so easy to find. They're everywhere. All these invertebrate fossils, bivalves, ammonites, shallow seas, like 140 to 300 million year old kind of stuff. Really great place to go with your kids if you're a person who chases fossils. High on Life is in Michigan too. My favorite thing about Michigan, well, it used to be my favorite thing. It doesn't matter as much anymore. But at a time when the speed limit in Pennsylvania was 55, the speed limit in parts of Michigan was 75. It was such a joy, right, to take the SS Beaver across Lake Michigan, get to the shores of Michigan, and see those 75-mile-an-hour speed limits. White Lake. Sergey, are you in Michigan? I didn't know that. They went from Tsar Bomba to this. Yes, they did. Tsar Bomba. Haven't thought of that in a while. How did that go? How did that go? I can't think of it now. It's too late. I'm too old. Anybody can follow me. Hey, Jan. Thanks, Freddie. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, Nature Girl. The Snubbin. Just saw your video on when they destroyed the imaginary subway system in Lviv. Yeah, right? Ren Vox. Well, after 500 years of serfdom, you know what happened to the Russian people? They got 80 years of the most evil experiment in artificially constructing a human being and a human society that the world has ever seen perpetrated on it. The idea of a Russian revolution is antithetical to the Russian mindset. For the last 600 years, anybody who stood up, anybody who asserted their own will against power was shipped off to a gulag or shot in the head right there. The will to fight has been bred out of these people. That's a real thing. You can test the cortisone levels in these people. You can test the DH3 and DH5. You can test. That's a real thing that shapes who you are. And it will take generations to reset those levels. It is never going to happen. Not in our lifetimes. They must be defeated. Just like the Japanese and the Germans after World War II. They've got to be disabused of the false notions they have that somehow they are a master race or that they are somehow destined to rule the world. This is nonsense. Hey, Refurb, I wasn't expecting to be on here. Trump wants to leave NATO. He's wanted to leave NATO since 1988. It's the worst possible thing that he could do. It will destroy our power and leadership in the world. But of course, that is his goal, right? That is his goal. Nature Girl, I'm sorry, but there's not a comparison there. There's not a comparison there. Yeah, Bill Gates is buying property. mostly for data centers, right? Like that's the Microsoft business model. And so we know we know what's happening with the land that Bill Gates is buying. And Bill Gates isn't, and Bill Gates might be happy to pick up a bargain on a distressed property, but he is not colluding with the president of the United States to distress those properties so that he can buy them up for pennies on the dollar and then use them as farmland anyway, but for agribusiness that's taking bailouts. Trump is, at this point, Matthew, Trump is a wannabe dictator. He's not a dictator yet, but he's trying to get there. I am safer than most of the people in this country, Gully. You know, I live in the best defended airspace in Europe. Arna, I'm surprised to hear you say that. I always thought you thought I was a rather warm person. Invading Greenland will isolate. Oh, look, we got somebody here who lives in the upside down. Invading Greenland will isolate Europe and make it weak? No. Invading Greenland will unify Europe against the United States. It will isolate the United States and make us weak. You think we have all this, right? What did Trump just ask for? He just asked for a $1.5 trillion defense budget. Now, why would he do that? Where did he get that number from? Do you think he picked it out of his ass? He asked his guys, how much does NATO spend on defense? And the number was 1.5 trillion. Now, maybe that's a coincidence, but I don't think it is, because he's a money guy. He's looking to replace NATO with American dollars. The problem is that's not how it works. If there's anybody here who served in Afghanistan or Iraq, if you got wounded, you know where you went to the hospital, right? You went to Wiesbaden, probably, or somewhere else in Europe. Well, without our European allies, you have to travel all the way home. That's not how it works. It's not Europe that gets isolated if we break the transatlantic community. Europe will absolutely unite against the threat that the United States military, which was once its protector, friend, and ally, now poses to its safety and future security, as well as the sovereignty of its nation states. No, you have it backwards. Indignazoni. Trump's team has plans that old money, wealthy Americans supported since the 70s. And you know, Roy, that's the thing about the old money in America. They hate America. They remember a time before income taxes. They remember when Teddy Roosevelt betrayed the Republican Party, and they're still unhappy about it. Thank you, Matthew. Thanks, Cobble Job. Cobble Job? I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Well, neither was I, Misty. I don't remember Teddy Roosevelt. I just had a grandmother who wouldn't let it go. My grandmother used to say some great things. My favorite expression of hers was, if you don't have anything nice to say about anyone, come and sit next to me. Yeah. My grandmother was a hoot. If it's ever a choice between the contraband and the cash, she used to say, always take the contraband. Her family was a long line of smugglers. My great grandfather used to smuggle saccharin into Germany in the early 1900s after the sugar merchants made it prescription only. Then my grandfather was a rum runner during Prohibition. So, yeah. Mackinac Island. Thank you, High on Life. Mackinac. Why couldn't I think of that? Nantucket. I haven't been in Nantucket in years. Manitou Island, named for the kind of an Indian nature spirit, if I'm not mistaken, the Manitou. I have never been to. So Pataskiki stones are fossilized corals, right, that are common in that region. There are places on Mackinac Island, every other stone seems to be one of them, especially if you go in the spring when erosion has freed up new, stuff that's been buried for God knows how long. Martatok, that's not a full sentence. I don't know what that says. The SS Beaver, Arna. The SS Beaver is a great way to spend a day, boy. It goes back and forth between Wisconsin and Michigan. And you drive right onto it, right? And it's got a full bar and a restaurant, big, beautiful decks. You cross Lake Michigan, you actually lose sight of land for a while. I want to say it takes 8 hours. It's a long ride, but you save yourself something like 800 miles of driving, 600 miles, something like that. You save yourself a lot of driving, boy. And it is a beautiful day out there on the water. So Mike Connor, you're funny. Greenland should change their name to Epstein Island. That might keep them away. Hey, Casey. Where are you at in Ohio? Mackinac, not Mackinac. If there is a Mackinac, I don't know it. Hey, Chef Deb. Hey, Manuel. Hey, Ben Tilly. How you doing? Hey, T-Bone. T-Bone. Oh, gosh. Am I not going to remember this name now? T-Bone Game. Shit. And one other person. I mentioned the other night that nobody had joined the Patreon in over a month. And 3 people joined up. T-Bone was one of them. So I really appreciate it. If anybody else follows this channel and has never joined the Patreon, maybe get a free membership and take a look at the account and see whether or not you couldn't kick me $5 a month. Kid, I didn't know I was doing a live tonight. It just sort of happened. We're more hanging out tonight than anything else. Thanks, Casey. We are under an air alert in Kyiv right now. Yes, but I haven't heard anything. Hey, Refurb, I didn't forget about you. I said hello to you before. You're on a plane, Misty. Where are you flying to? Is the war touring turn? Okay. Woodstain, that's not an easy question to answer, but I'll tell you something. The Russian narrative is that Russia is inevitable, that they are pushing forward every day, and that they are gaining ground every day. And that's not true. But boy, you got to zoom in on that map really to see changes. You look at a map of 2023 control and 2025 end of year control, You got to zoom in to see the changes. In that 3-year period, Russia took less than 1% of Ukraine at a cost of 1.2 million casualties. That's KIA, WIA, MIA, and POW. There may be some indications that the situation is changing, and where we might expect to see the Russians get pushed back are places like Huliopol. That's a place to watch. Zaporizhia, Pokrovsk, and there's one other too. Now, look, I'm not suggesting that that's going to happen anytime soon, and I'm not suggesting that it's going to happen quickly. But there are indications that there are places on the front where the Ukrainians are going to be able to take back some of their land. And we're going to keep watching it. We're going to keep watching it. Especially now, over these next few months, when weather conditions are awful. I cannot imagine being in a trench right now. And I certainly can't imagine being in a trench right now, knowing that tomorrow morning I'm going to have to assault Ukrainian positions on a horse. That's not a situation that's going to be good for morale. Hey, Derek Sands. Flying over the Atlantic. Nice. No, Felice, I'm now in day 4 of no heat, hour 16 of no power. There's water, but no hot water. I just lost the internet, which has really very rarely happened. Usually with my backup power supplies and a few tweaks there, I stay connected. But right now I'm on the cell network with my cell phone. This is all on my data plan. And hold on for 1 second. My candles are running out. And it's getting real dark in here. Let me light some candles. I got to go to Mega Mart in the morning and get candles. These are just not cutting it. Any chance the EU will have the right to help Russia following a democratic path after the war? Boy, you ask weird questions in a weird way, pal. I mean, that's weird. That's fucking weird. There is no indication that Russia has any interest in any democratic paths. And as far as Europe having a right to do that, I mean, that's just not how the world works at all. I'm quite certain that Europe would very much like to help Russia pursue a democratic path. But Russia has to want to be on a democratic path. And they don't. They don't. You know, I was listening to an intercepted call between a Russian officer, young officer, newly minted, and his mother. And he's telling his mother how great the army is going for him, that he just got this promotion because he's so good at torture. He told his mother, I got this promotion because I'm so good at torture. And do you know what his mother's response was? I knew you could do it. I'm so proud of you. I mean, There's a woman in Russia who has married 3 separate guys who she sent to the SMO, has collected their death benefits, is about to marry number 4, and has a channel, a social media channel on Russia's version of YouTube, RuTube or whatever it is, where she teaches other Russian women how to do the same thing. These people believe, I had a very interesting conversation with a PhD in Bulgaria who's in the substance abuse recovery kind of business. And he just published an article on the efficacy of sober houses in Europe, specifically in post-Warsaw Pact nations. And if you don't know what a sober house is because you don't have them in Europe, in the United States, we have these places where people who have fucked up their lives on drugs and alcohol can go and live with other people who are trying to get off drugs and alcohol and try to help each other. And they have limited success, but, we have them, and that's a real thing. He spent 10 years trying to do it in Bulgaria. You can't do it. You know why? Because in the post-Soviet world, in the Warsaw Pact nations, which was his particular area of focus, there is a distinct class system where there are people of money and land ownership and wealth, and then there's the scum of the earth. And the reality is that when these aristocrats meet a regular person, they immediately lord it over them and try to take advantage of them. And those are the people in charge in Russia. In any revolution, there are 2 kinds of people. There are the people that want everyone to be freed from the tyranny. And then there are those who want to be the ones with their boots on your neck. And in the United States, they've all recently gotten $50,000 sign-up bonuses for joining ICE. So I'm quite certain that the EU, just like it did when the Soviet Union fell, would very much like to see Russia on a democratic path. Russia doesn't want it. So your question is meaningless. Kelly's Heroes, all about the gold. Hey, Chrissy Locks. Hey, Henry. Hey, Guy. Well, that's the problem with all these ideologies, Sergey, right? They all think that they are the master race. The Japanese at the beginning of World War II thought literally that their emperor was a god. They needed to be disabused of this lie. The Germans, of course, the Russians think they're the master race now. I forget who it was. It wasn't Medvedev. You would expect this kind of thing from him, but it wasn't him. It was a lesser cabinet official of the Russian Federation. And I can't think of who it is just now, but he was recently on Russian TV, and he told the world, the Russians, very special people. We are more evolved than regular humans. We have extra chromosome. We are mighty Russians with more evolution than regular people. The level of ignorance it takes to say such a thing like that is unbelievable. I mean, first of all, the idea that having more chromosomes is by itself a good idea flies in the face of every genetic disease there is. Virtually every genetic disease there is. And then there's the idea that if you have a different number of chromosomes than human beings, that you're still a human being. I mean, chromosomes come in pairs. If we had an extra pair of chromosomes, do you know who has 44 chromosomes? Who has Or no, I'm sorry, 48 chromosomes, 24 chromosomal pairs. We have 23 chromosomal pairs, 46 chromosomes. Do you know who has 24 chromosomal pairs, 48 chromosomes? Anybody? It wasn't the Russians that were badasses in World War II, it was the USSR. Many of those people were Ukrainians. The Russian commanders pushed the Ukrainians out into the front lines. Much of the defense of Stalingrad was done by Ukrainian groups. Last night wasn't bad. Hey, Evil Saxon. Hey, Jasmine. Ooh, the chat's gotten way ahead of me. Smuggling toothpaste into Luxembourg. Hey, Uncle Christopher. Cake Boy and Banjo. How you doing? The only Michelangelo dome I know is in the Vatican. Show tonight was great. Oh shit, I'm really behind. The kid says correctly. Now, I don't know about monkeys, but all the other great apes are 24 chromosomal pairs. So chimpanzees, bonobos, gorillas, and orangutans, our closest relatives, are 44 chromosomal pairs, or 44 chromosomes, 24. Oh my God, I can't do math. 48 chromosomes, 24 chromosomal pairs. So if this guy in the Russian Federation was talking about chromosomal pairs, he was basically saying that everybody in the Russian Federation is a gorilla. That's what he was saying. So this kind of pseudoscience bullshit that comes out of these guys' mouths is just that. It's nonsense of the worst kind. Yeah, I'm really behind, Arn. Sorry, I'm slow tonight. Did Ben Tilley say something funny? Trump. Nice one, Ian. Very nice. Sherry got it. Apes. Van said South Africans. That's nice. Okay. Last night's attack was not bad for me here in Kyiv. I don't remember now where last night's attack was concentrated, so I can't say. Boys in South Africa are really fucking up tonight, Van, aren't they? You guys are hosting the Chinese, the Russians, and who's the third one? It's Russia, China, and Iran. That's who it is. You're hosting Russia, China, and Iran naval exercises. What's it called? It's called the Will for Peace exercises. China, Russia, and Iran? You got to be kidding me. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing a few of those Russian sailors in the water getting thrown around by the great whites the way they do the sea lions, huh? Colin, you were reading correctly. As I understand it, last night, The Ukrainians hit the thermal power plant in Oriel and the one in Belgorod, and 600,000 folks in Belgorod were left without power. Well, thanks, Bernard. It's a pleasure to be here. Yeah, Russia never had much of a navy. Russia was, for the most of its history, landlocked territory. They are not a seafaring people, these guys. They don't have boats, really. They never have. Certainly not like the English and the Irish, who were seagoing nations, right? Or the Portuguese, the Spanish, even the Germans on the Baltic up there, the Italians. They don't have that history of shipbuilding, shipmaking, and seafaring. I don't know, Matt. I don't have a good answer to that question. Do parts of Russia have rolling power outages? I can't answer that question today. Russia, second best army in Ukraine. Well, Keith, we don't know the state of the Russian submarine fleet. Remember, there was that tsunami and earthquake out there on the peninsula, the Kamchatka Peninsula. And intelligence reports suggest that a great number of those submarines were badly damaged in that attack, as well as port infrastructure. Not attack, sorry, in that seismic event. Yeah, the Ukrainians for 3 winters now, for 3 winters of this war, have not struck Russian civilian heating, water, and energy infrastructure. They haven't done it. And I remember 2 years ago arguing with Bobby about it. Bobby was like, Ukrainians should do that. And I'm like, Bobby, those are war crimes. Ukrainians don't do war crimes. But after 3 winters, now the 4th winter of this shit, and this year is the worst, the Ukrainians said very clearly, very loudly, starting in August, that if Russia did this again, they would follow a mirror strategy. For every power plant that they hit in Ukraine, the Ukrainians would hit a power plant in Russia. And I was watching one analyst. Have we talked about this? I don't know if we've talked about this at all. One electrical engineer was interviewed, and he gave an analysis of the Ukrainian strikes on Russian infrastructure. And he suggested that looking at the Russian power grid and the redundancy in the lines and the way that power can be offloaded and redirected in the event that particular nodes are taken offline, he suggested that the Ukrainians were targeting specific nodes on the Russian power grid so that they could get it to a point where the Russians were redirecting so much power that with just a few strikes on a few key locations, they could black out a large part of Western Russia for an extended period. Now, I don't know that to be true. I don't have that kind of knowledge. But this guy was very convincing. And so one cannot help but wonder if all these small drone strikes on substations, transformers, and power stations isn't actually part of a larger scheme to weaken the resiliency of the Russian power grid and do to Russia what it's been doing to Ukraine for 4 long years. That's a good question, kid. What are they waiting for? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. It could be that they're waiting to get a stockpile of longer range missiles so that they can accomplish it with certainty. Just like we saw the Russians overwhelm Ukrainian air defense the other night. They may well be making sure that they have the stockpiles to overwhelm Russian air defense. Poor planning and I don't understand that, TK's daddy. I'm not sure what you're saying there, pal. Hey, Scotty. Kia ora. Well, Eli, the live just kind of happened because it's cold and it's dark and I don't want to turn off the stove. So I thought maybe I'd try to stay up for a while and talk to you guys. And then I'll sleep during the day when the sun is out and I don't have to worry as much about the heat. No, nothing bad's going on. You know, to the best of my knowledge, Kyiv is not in flames. I haven't heard any anti-aircraft guns tonight. I haven't heard any drones, nothing like that. Thanks, Colin. No cooking tonight, though, pal. I need some lights, and I need to get to Megamart. I'm out of honey and peppercorns and matches. I must buy those things, and candles tomorrow. I tell you what, Colin, if tomorrow I can get to the butcher and I can get some beef bones, some marrow bones, maybe we'll make a bone broth together. It was fudge, kid, and actually the fudge didn't go to the front. The fudge went to two territorial defense anti-drone brigades here or units, not brigades, units here in Kyiv. So brand new groups, brand new units just formed. Each unit has 10 guys on it. 5 guys do a 12-hour shift every day. 10 guys altogether. They have 2 pickup trucks each. And the pickup trucks have in their back one of the new anti-drone drones. And they launch the drones from the pickup trucks. So Shaheds are coming in. The teams drive out to their launch sites, which they're always changing, right? Because the first thing that the Russians try to do is find the air defense and target it. So these are mobile territorial defense units that defend the city against Shaheds in particular. You know, honestly, Woodstain, I don't know what they're using. The Stinger is the big one that I keep hearing about, right? That is now being mass produced. Something like 1,500 a day, I think, are coming out. I'm pretty sure it's called the Stinger. I think that's the big one. And I asked if that was the one, and I kind of got a look like, that's not a question you should ask us. Why are you asking that question? Operational security is a real thing, so I don't know. I don't know. Weibo, oh, it's the weekend. You don't have to work, buddy. You could come in. Nice. Nice. No, I'm glad I went live. Not that I wasn't before when all of you were here, but I do like that Weibo kid. I'll tell you, if you don't know Bertolt Brecht's Caucasian chalk circle, and if you're a parent, because it's really about the nature of parenting, it's really Brecht riffing on the story of King Solomon. You know the story of King Solomon, where the 2 women have the child, and they bring it to him to say, hey, Tell us who the real mother is. Who gets custody of this child? And Solomon says, I tell you what we'll do. We'll split the child in half and you can share it. And the one woman in horror says, no, let her have it. Because she's the mother, right? Whether biological or otherwise, she's the one who cares about the welfare of the child. You can read all of this in Kings chapter 3. So Bertolt Brecht takes this notion of two women, one who loves the child and one who treats the child as a commodity, and puts them in front of a judge to determine who is the rightful mother. And it's set in Georgia, the country of Georgia, about 150 years ago, right? On the set were two anachronistic pieces, two pieces out of time that did not belong there. A red shopping cart and a red shopping basket. The only red things on stage, mind you. And the bad mom was using the shopping cart as a baby stroller. And at one point, the baby was carried in the small shopping basket. The symbolism of these two pieces of anachronistic objects on stage that hold commodities, things you buy and sell, and the evil woman who treated her child as an object for her own benefit, carried the child in the shopping cart and the shopping basket. It was a blatant but beautiful use of anachronisms in a stage production. I haven't seen anything that good in a long, long time. I mean, it just screamed at me. Now, my friend Svetlana that I was there with, she noticed those things, but she couldn't explain why they were important, but she did notice them. And when we talked about it after the show, she was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. I'll tell you, that place, Left Bank Theater, it is a national treasure. It is a national treasure. Hey, Pugga Mahone, how's life in Germany? What do you guys want to talk about? It's 3:03 a.m. The sun doesn't come up for another 4 hours. Jeez Louise, this is going to be a long night. My battery won't make it that long. I think I'll sleep in the kitchen tonight. I have part of a sectional sofa in here. I think maybe I'll just sleep in the kitchen because that's going to be the only room where I can't see my breath. Good night, Arna. Yeah, I'm going to sleep too. Thanks, Brandon. I sure appreciate it. So I am on day 4 with no heat. And by the way, guys, I'm not saying any of this for sympathy. Look, I'm fine. I'm a big guy. I have a lot of experience outdoors. I am not the one to worry about. We worry about especially the elderly Ukrainians who don't have people to check on them, maybe. And then people like my neighbors upstairs here who have 3 small children. 3 children under the age of 6. Can you imagine trying to deal with no heat for 4 days, no power for 16, well, now we're into hour 17, no power for 17 hours. You can't even keep the formula good in the refrigerator for 17 hours. Warm wishes. Nice, Sandra. Very nice. Very nice. Warm wishes. Thanks, Derek. No internet. Now, the internet is even out, which is very unusual. I'm doing this all on the cell networks. Water, but no hot water. Thank God I have gas. I don't know what I would do if I didn't have the gas. Russia does have a lot to answer for, Clive, boy. Is it Pugga Mahone's birthday? No, whose birthday is it? Pugga Mahone is wishing somebody a happy birthday. Did somebody say it was their birthday? Hey, Flavius. Greetings, Peter, and happy birthday? Flavius, why would you think it's my birthday? It is, or are you wishing somebody else birthday? No worries, TK's daddy. It is not my birthday. I don't know why you would say that. I mean, I'll take a happy birthday. It is, it is my unbirthday. Today is my unbirthday. So happy unbirthday to me. Yeah, I think it was Flavius. He might just be kidding around. I don't know. Thanks, Chrissy Locks. I don't know who Scuba Steve is. That's not a name that means anything to me. The scuba guy on here is Dive Hard. That's our scuba buddy. Thanks, Weibo. Hey, happy unbirthday to you, pal. Happy unbirthday to everybody here for whom today is not your birthday. Happy unbirthday to you. Happy unbirthday to you. Twinkle, twinkle, little bat, how I wonder where you're at. Up above the world so high, like a tea tray in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little bat, how I wonder where you're at. Yeah, happy unbirthday, Rick. I do not watch Adam Sandler movies. I do not enjoy him at all. I mean, I've seen the guy in a lot of interviews. I like the guy. The guy is a smart guy. His characters are terrible. The Water Boy, what the? None of it makes any sense to me. Because it's farce. It's classic farce. I'm not much of a farce guy, to be honest. Hey, guard. Yeah, no. Even I'll tell you honestly, to be honest, because there are lots of things I do like Steve Martin in, but his like arrow through the head stuff when he was a kid, and that one where he played a guy who didn't realize he wasn't black. I never got it. I don't get any of that. I do love Only Murders in the Building, though. His work on that is great. Three Amigos. Night, Clive. Comedy is an interesting thing, man. If you think something's funny, you're right. If you think it's not funny, you're right. There's nothing more subjective than humor. Ooh, somebody just sent me something shiny. None of hum. Not exactly, Pugga Mahone. I mean, you're not wrong, right? But what Mayor Klitschko, mayor of Kyiv, said was that he recommended if you were a resident of Kyiv and you had somewhere else to go, a lot of people in Kyiv have summer houses, right, to get out of the city from the days before there was air conditioning, that they called their dashes. And he suggested if you have a dasha, you go to it. Dashas often have their own source of heat. They have a fireplace. They often have their own source of water. They have a well. Life at the dasha right now could well be more predictable than life here. Additionally, if thousands or tens of thousands of people left the city, it would reduce the stress on the already stressed grid and give the repair crews more flexibility to try to get things back in order. None of that is a bad idea. If I had someplace to go, I might go. But I really, probably not. I'd probably stay because I want to be here for it so that I can tell you about it. Is that done? Should I go someplace? I was supposed to go on Monday. Talk about dumb. On Monday, I was supposed to go to Kyiv, which is really getting slammed hard right now and probably not a great idea. But I was supposed to go to Kyiv, but now that trip is being put off another week or so. But maybe with a little bit of luck, I'll be able to go live from Kyiv and show you around Kyiv a little bit. You're right, David Keller. And I mean, I'm sorry, but Chevy Chase is another one. I despise him. I don't think there's anything he's ever done that I liked. I find nothing about him entertaining at all. It's just personal taste. When I have, well, technically I do not have television. There are 2 televisions in the apartment. I have never plugged either of them in. I don't have a lot of time for TV. I really do stay very busy. And right now I do not have Netflix. I've cut out all of the kind of personal luxuries because I have this travel coming up at the end of the month. And I'm going to be traveling for 3 weeks and it's going to be expensive. And so I'm trying to save up every, penny I can. So if anybody wants to help with that, I have live sponsors on Monday and Tuesday, but I need sponsors for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Or maybe join the Patreon. Just a thought. I actually just can't. So what I did was if you sign up for something to watch a series, like let's say Pluribus on Apple TV, which I do recommend, especially if you were a friend of Better Call Saul. So I signed up for Apple TV just to watch Pluribus. And then as soon as I was done, I canceled it. They give you 2 more months at $2.99 a month. So then I took the 2 more months at $2.99 a month and then canceled it. So, yeah. Night, Feisty. Enjoy your dinner. Oh. Hey, Lars. Oh, thanks, BC. Saul Goodman. Saul Goodman. Little Red, I don't do Saturday. Did you have to move down there for work? No, I came to Ukraine to volunteer, and then I came to Ukraine to volunteer for 3 months, and now 3 years later, I'm still here, and I'm on TikTok. I don't know how it happened. It just happened. It got me. So anyway, all right, kids, I'm going to call it a night. I'm really fading fast here. So, ladies and gentlemen, I don't have any sponsors tonight to thank because this is an unscheduled impromptu live. That was really a great deal of fun for me because we didn't just talk about Ukraine. I do have other interests in my life, and they have been sorely neglected the last 3 years, that's for sure. I'm sure that is the case for every Ukrainian in the trench, too, to a much greater degree. So it was really a pleasure talking to everybody. Big thanks to Lars, who has the Discord server, Nightshade, who has the Peter's Peeps group on the Book of Faces, and of course to the best moderator team on the Tickety Talk, who with no prompting, at least half of them were here, right? Feisty was here and Roy Daniels was here. So I really appreciate that, guys. Big thanks to everybody who tuned in. Thanks for participating in the conversation. Pugga Mahone, always good to see you. Vanificum, nice to see you. Good night, Chrissy Locks. Good night, Ren Vox. I'm well insulated, Ren Vox. Don't worry about me. It's probably 65 in here. Close to 65. Put on another layer, get under a duvet, I'll be just fine. Thanks, Chef Deb. Good night, Chrissy. Good night, Sandra. Good night, Sammy. Well, I'm hopeful nobody's going to take over Greenland, but if anybody's going to take it over, it'll be the USA. And that will be the end of our power in the world. Everybody that's been hoping for the end of the USA as the policeman of the world, you'll get it if we go rogue that way. Oh, Scully was even here. Hey, Skull. Later, Van. Night, J Girl. What do sponsors do? Give me money. And then I thank them publicly and personally. So to sponsor a live, it's $50 if you want to sponsor it by yourself. If you're okay with a shared sponsorship, you can send any amount. And when a few people have sent, one guy sends $25, one guy sends $25, they get a shared sponsorship. That's basically the rule of thumb with that. But it would be much better if you join the Patreon. The Patreon is my bread and butter that keeps the channel going, keeps me in Ukraine. And it's the Patreon folks who really make it all possible. But Andrea, if you have further questions, feel free to chat me up, or the links to the Patreon and the PayPal are in the bio. Thank you. Night Refurb, Night Guard, Skeletide, Nightman, Night Flying Sunbeams, Night Bjorn, Night Truthful, Night Ben Tilly. Ben Tilly was just our sponsor last night, along with Guy Matthews and Jerry O, my buddy Jerry O from Ireland. Derek Sands sponsored a live last week. Thank you, Derek. Dave Quasani is snow blowing 10 inches. I remember in the 80s, that meant something very different. I was talking to somebody here in Kyiv about the price of blow, and I was shocked by how expensive it is here. Holy shit. I never paid that kind of money in New York. Are you doing that the Scranton? Brandon, that's not really a sentence. It doesn't really mean anything. But if you're asking if I'm in Scranton, I am not in Scranton. I am in Kyiv, Ukraine. I am from Scranton, though. That is true. My grandfather on my father's side. Now, this is funny, right? So the grandfather on my mother's side was a bootlegger. The grandfather on my father's side was a policeman, a cop for 35 years in Scranton, Pennsylvania. It's a fascinating family. Night, Scotty. Night, Matthew. Salut. Night, High on Life. Night, Little Red. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Hey, Altered Carbon. Long time no see. Dude, you're catching us just as we're saying goodnight. Your family's from Scranton as well, are they? Do you want to tell me their name? We'll see if we know each other. Do you know me? Also, you're not a Beck, are you? We were in business with the Becks, Germans and Irish. The Becks had a literal speakeasy in their basement. It's quite a house. According to my dad, my great-grandmother carried a 45 in her waistband. Sure. Who didn't? I get it. No worries. All right, kids. Make it a great day and have a pleasant tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Night, William G.